Well, hi again. Here we are on our next lovely rural campsite in Belgium. We decided to come to a big forest which has got lovely dog walks that stretches on for miles apparently and has cycle paths through it. So we're hoping to get on our trusty steeds and cycle along slowly with Pippy Chops galumphing along behind, we hope. Otherwise we'll just have a lovely walk through the woods. And we were thinking about staying in Bruges another day, but I'd sort of seen it all the day before and I was just sort of keen to get going really. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous city and I'm sure we'll be back many times. So we only went 45 minutes down the road, so I felt a little bit of a fraud because we didn't go very, very far. It's much chillier now, so I've got my lovely furry waistcoat on and it's got that lovely autumnal feel to the air, which is always nice. I do love autumn, even though I do mourn the going of summer. Well, when we got here, I was absolutely starving, and one thing I've learned about being a vegan is there's no real good quick food. You can grab a piece of bread and hummus, I suppose, and a few olives. That's quite quick, but I didn't really feel like that. It felt like something warm. So I just had to make a soup from scratch, which is quite funny, really, because you think, okay, so I've got to wait 20 minutes or half an hour, which actually was fine. So I got out some soup mix, which you can buy from any supermarket. It's just in the pulses section, and it's got a few lentils and barley and what else is in the soup mix, Martin?
Split peas.
Split peas and other lovely pulses anyway. And you can soak it for a long time, or you can just boil it for like 20 minutes, what we did. So I boiled that up. I threw in a spoon of my lazy garlic. I threw in a couple of slices of beetroot all chopped up, some kale, a leek, 3 carrots, some turmeric, and probably a few more herbs. And boiled it all up. It was ever so quick. And then because we're on a campsite, I could plug in my blender. So I blended up the soup, leaving a few little lumps because Martin likes it a little bit textured. And then I stirred in, for me, nutritional yeast. Martin had his grated cheese on top. Nutritional yeast is not particularly cheap, so we're keeping it for me because he has cheese. And then I like parsley on top. More iron, and I love the taste of parsley. Martin doesn't like parsley on his because he says older men don't need so much iron. And then I stirred in some of the spirulina, which changed it to a strange sort of dark green brown, which alarmed me a little bit, but we didn't really taste it. It does add a slightly fishy taste, which is strange. Not really strange because it's come from algae, because it is algae, isn't it, from the ocean, of course, and it's got all the omegas in. I couldn't remember yesterday what it was. And then we sprinkled nori flakes on top, which is seaweed. Well, I did anyway. So I've got my trusty millions jar to store what we had left. You can see the colour. That's gorgeous. And we're going to have that for lunch. As it's so huge, it wouldn't go in our fridge. And Martin, being the biologist, said it will last for exactly 24 hours. So we have to eat it by lunchtime tomorrow, which is what we're going to do. So we just stored it in open air. Not in open air, but not in the fridge. And we shall have it for lunch today. And then I got very inventive and finally made my own granola, which I've been meaning to do for absolutely yonks. And it's brilliant to make your own granola because you can put in exactly what you want, and you know there's just no chemicals in it. It's fantastic. So on retrospect, what I should have done is coated just the oats in the oil and sweeteners and roasted that, and then added everything else so they wouldn't be damaged by the cooking. But I didn't think of that, so next time I'll do that. But what I did, melted up like a spoon or two of coconut oil, and then like a spoon of peanut butter. Actually, I got peanut and coconut mixed, which is nice. A spoon of tamari, I think, which is sesame seed cream. Some maple syrup, some molasses, which has got lots of B vitamins in. It is from cane sugar, but it's the rawest version of it, and it has got lots of B vits, which is really good. Just some of that, so it's got a strong black treacle taste, so I didn't want too much of that. And any other sort of, some almond butter I had, and some hemp seed butter as well. So melted all that, or was it called pumpkin seed? It's called pumpkin seed. Melted all that, so I had a nice sort of like a few cups of like brown goo in the pan, and then I rolled the oats in it, and then I put in it just everything I had, which was some of that protein powder I showed you the other day. I got my bag of nuts out and stomped it with a mug to break them all up. And then I got out some raisins and sultanas, which I soaked first in water, then they get nice and plump. So you put those in all plump, not all dried up, which I didn't know. And I had actually bought some cranberries, so I plumped up those in water, put those in as well. And there seemed to be loads more stuff. Of course, all the seeds, so poppy seed, chia seeds, sunflower seeds, I think sesame seeds, although I think I've lost those because I needed them later on, I couldn't find them, and pumpkin seeds. Anyway, mixed it all up, and then I was most ingenious on my little stovetop, which is just 3 little flames, you know, my hob. I discovered we had a tray about this big in our tiny little camping oven, which is useless, which is why I use the Dutch oven, which is a double skillet on the hob. But I used this tray, spread out all the granola, put it over all 3 flames, and just kept moving it around, and it roasted absolutely beautifully. And so now I've got a really cracking granola that's going to last me for absolutely ages, and I could probably make energy bars from it if I wanted to. So really, really happy with that. And then for dinner, I bought this cauliflower because I'd seen a honey garlic cauliflower recipe which sounded lovely. Instead of honey, vegans would use maple syrup, and it turned out really nicely. What goes into the sauce, basically how I did it, you're supposed to batter the cauliflower, but I didn't bother with that. I'm not a huge fan of batter, but I love the idea of the sauce. So you just cook the cauliflower normally, al dente, not too mushy. We made the mistake, it was a little bit too mushy. And then in a pan you do 1 tablespoon of sesame oil, which is lovely, 1 tablespoon of garlic, 1/2 cup of soy sauce, 1/4 cup of rice vinegar, which I'd never used before, and then a tablespoon of whatever sweetener you're using. I use maple syrup actually, and a bit of agave as well, I think. The recipe calls for sriracha, which is strong hot sauce that Felicity loves, and I haven't been able to find yet, so I put in piri piri instead. And then you mix all that up, melt it, and then you stir in some cornstarch slurry, which is a spoon or 2 of cornstarch mixed to a little paste with water. Stir it in there so it thickens, and then you just roll the cauliflower in it, and then you're supposed to sprinkle with sesame seeds and chopped green pepper scallions, you know, the little ones, which we actually had and I forgot to do. And I was so cross about the sesame seeds because one drawback of being in a van is you've got all your stuff scrunched together in a few cupboards and you just don't know what you've done with them. I've got like all my grains in one bag and all my nuts in another bag, so I had to take the whole lot out, and I spent about 10 minutes looking for these dratted sesame seeds and then gave up and just added some tamari to the mix. And my cauliflower fell to bits inside the sauce because, as I said, I overcooked it a bit, but it was really delicious, wasn't it, Martin?
Lovely.
Yeah, and we had it with applesauce, and I think we did, I had potatoes, he had sweet potatoes, just to have something with it. And it was a recipe that I'm sure I will come back to, so that was a real success. And I just wanted to show you a few things I've got today. Bought a coconut yesterday, so I'm going to try and get my own coconut milk, and I'm going to try and grate all the flesh, so I've got my fresh coconut that I can throw into things. And we have to figure out, I know these are the eyes, we have to figure out how we're going to break it open, and I've had a look on Google, and if we're careful we can actually retain the outsides and have those as a nice decoration on the dashboard, because we've got quite a big dashboard and things don't roll off it, which is nice. The other thing I was going to show you, I'm carrying, I have to keep these away from Pip though, are 2 dumbbells, which are great for the old arms and everything in the morning or any time of day. I have to keep these away from Pip because they are bone shaped, and even though they're bright blue, he seems to think they're his, which they're not. So that's quite funny really. So I'll give you a quick panorama of where we are, and then I'll sign off. So this is our lovely peaceful campsite. Once again, Martin washing up. Pippy Chop's fast asleep. And it's really peaceful and lovely. I might just step outside and show you the outside of our van. This is our lovely Hymer-mobile with a bottle of wine thrown down at the steps, and it's about 23 foot long, just about long enough for me to drive it. It took me a little while to learn. And that's our bicycles on the back, which we're hoping to get out today to cycle through the forest. And as you can see, there's no one here. The forest right next to us for Pip. And then here's some fixed caravans And that's it really. So on this lovely day, I'll say goodbye to you. Have a cracking weekend wherever you are. Bye.